two-domain thing. I'm just saying make a copy because you can do that with Wix. Make a copy of Computer America with everything changed to Redneck, and then for April Fools, change everything to Computer America and have everything reworded, everything rephrased, and then after April Fools, we can just load the other template.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Computer America Show. Mike Cermak is sort of here. He's working fervently at his computer. You can see him waving if you're watching a live Computer America video stream, which you must be if you're listening to us. And we're going to be starting in about
1 minute until showtime.
In 1 minute, as you hear. Hour 2, Computer and Technology News, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So sit back, relax, as we get started with the Wednesday edition of Computer America for March the 4th, 2015.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And, well, I think the technology gods are smiling upon us tonight because everything seems to be working.
And then the grid came down and everything just shuts off.
Well, last night, let's see, I won't go item for item, but Google Hangouts is supposed to switch to the person who is talking at that moment. And all of a sudden, I think Jonathan in the chat room pointed it out. He says, why am I only seeing you? Or he couldn't see. I said, he asked a question about your headset. And I said, can't you see him? And he said, no, all I see is you. And then I realized when I spoke, I watched when you spoke, I didn't see you. It didn't switch automatically. But tonight, it seems to be switching back automatically. So evidently that mechanism is working again. You know, little subtle things. There's so much that goes on to make Computer America happen. Just for the
to be fair, that's an automated process brought to you by the magicians over at Google. If you had to go in and fix the hard code about switching the cameras, we wouldn't be able to do it. That's a little thing. Like, it definitely brings, it becomes apparent, but that is still kind of outside our control, which can be good.
You're too young to be a parent. But
what?
But seriously, folks.
A parent. Oh, okay.
Oh, he got it. Okay. No, you have to be quick. Yeah. So, yeah, but...
I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm 24. I can be a parent. I could have been a parent for up to 8 years now.
That's true. You could be. Well, it's the first Wednesday of the month. That means we're going to have our good friend and buddy Mike Cermak here with us tonight. I don't know if he has another quiz that he does for us, but we can only hope and wish that he does. If you're watching our live Computer America video stream, you can actually see Mike tinkering with his computer. That's right. He actually has a main computer and he has his laptop computer, which you're seeing on our Google Hangouts. And he's trying to fix his main computer because he wants to be in the chat room, because that's the only way, evidently, he can be in the chat room. I don't know exactly why he can't run the chat room and Google Hangouts on the same computer. I do it on my Mac.
He's going in and lubricating Java by hand.
Java. Oh, that's terrible.
You know, my laptop might be able to do it. I don't know. It's an older machine. That's all I'm concerned about. I just don't want it to catch fire.
Okay. Well,
I'm surprised it's able to run Google Hangouts, to be honest.
well. Anyhow, if you have a comment or question for us tonight, before I introduce Mike, why don't I just give you the phone numbers to call? It's 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. Email is live, L-I-V-E, at computeramerica.com. You can also join us in our live interactive chat room. Just go to our homepage at computeramerica.com. Click the button there that says chat live and live video. It's one button. You'll get a split screen. On the left-hand side, you'll see the entry form for our chat room. Just put in a username. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. Click the join button or connect button, and your browser will move you into the chat room. Sharing that same page, of course, our live Computer America video streaming page. And that is there. That starts up automatically. And you can not only listen to the Computer America show, you can watch the show as well. So you can see myself, you can see Ben, you can see Mike fervently working on his computer, and that's all happening here. And that's how you interact with us. So we certainly welcome you to do that. Join us in the chat room and watch us on our live Computer America video streaming page. So also, you can see more about techguy.org, which is Mike's website, on our show notes page. We actually
Which I guess is the message board form of what Mike is doing right now.
Yes, Mike is actually consulting techguy.org as we speak, getting help for this. Well, let me introduce him. Then he can tell us what's going on. Mike Cermak, of course, is the owner-operator of techguy.org, a website dedicated to helping others with their computer problems and answering their questions. If you're looking for free technical support, techguy.org is the right place to be. It's been around since 1996, and Mike's site is run completely by volunteers and paid for completely by donations and sponsors. And as I said, he's also one of our Computer America correspondents who appears on every first Wednesday of the month. Mike, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
I have been better. How are you guys doing?
So tell everybody what you're trying to do.
Yeah, so I had some excitement today. I discovered here that on my main computer at home, my video card went out and has just been giving me garbage out on the screen.
No, I see. Hold it up again. Let me look at it. Oh, I see what's wrong with it. I see that capacitor there. It's a little.
Oh, is that what? Do you have your soldering kit with you?
Yeah, the solder. That'll fix that right up.
Perfect. It's an older video card. It's a GeForce 9 series, I guess. I don't know. I'm not an expert at video cards, to be honest. I'm not a big gamer or anything, but I am upgrading a little bit here and moving to a little bit better one. So
don't let Ben hear you say that, though.
Is Ben the big gamer? I can't remember now.
Yes,
Yeah, I dabble.
Dabble. He dabbles.
He dabbles in not being in a game once in a while.
23 out of 24 hours. He's, Ben, come here and help me. No, not now. I'm playing a game.
See, it's difficult to get into the whole parenting thing if you're just playing a game, though, Ben.
Yeah.
Well, you get the kids hooked early, and then it becomes a bonding experience. So it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off. But I will say a 9 series. Yeah, but a GeForce 9 series. That's I'm surprised it lasted this long.
So I'm replacing it with a GTX 960.
Wow, that's quite the upgrade.
It's a little bit of an upgrade. I'm hoping I'll be able to see a little bit of a difference.
That's more powerful than your whole computer combined.
It very well may be. It probably has more RAM in it than my laptop does.
So, as you know, Mike, one of the hardest things to do when something goes wrong with your computer, rather than just people throwing up their hands saying, "Well, the whole thing's trashed," or "The whole thing's broken," how did diagnostics go? Like, what led you to believe it was the graphics card and not power source, RAM, software, what have you?
Because a big honking message on the screen said your video card.
I wish it were that easy. No, what made me believe it, Ben, I was getting corrupt video on and off for a while, and then I thought, I'll try and update the video drivers. And the video drivers installed, but then started giving me all sorts of blue screens and things like that. And doing a Google search led me to the belief kind of confirmed what I suspected, that it's likely the video card. And so I will probably know for sure here within the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'd guess.
Well, you're saying your video card is dead, right?
Yeah, or at least dying. It still gave me some output, but just inconsistent and blue screened periodically. Oh.
A moment of silence for Mike's video card.
The poor thing. That's so sweet of you, Craig. I appreciate that.
Video card, 2009 to 2015.
Is that what year that came out? Did you look that up, Ben, or do you just know that offhand?
No, off the top of my head.
Don't tease, gamer.
That sounds about right to me.
Yeah, it probably is. So, okay, so now you're at the moment of truth. So,
well, the trouble is this video card requires a newer cable, so I've got to replace my old VGA cable with an HDMI cable here.
Well, HDMI is nice.
HDMI is nice.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot easier. I wish all cables were like HDMI.
HDMI is a really smart standard. It is underappreciated.
One cable to rule them all, literally.
And the resolution that it's capable of, and being able to do audio and video and Ethernet all on one, standard.
It's very nice. It's very sweet.
Did you buy the $12,000 monster cable with titanium plating so it's smoother?
Of course.
They told me that it would make the video much sharper if I did. It would be much brighter. So I just used Craig's credit card and told him to send me 2 so I'd have a spare.
I'm surprised it sent you 1. Okay.
So anyhow, so that's been my excitement, is trying to troubleshoot my own problems in between everyone else's.
Hey, you're the guy. You're the MrTechGuy.org. You're supposed to know all this stuff. You know.
It's one of those cases of the shoemaker's kids don't have any shoes. My computer is old and not upgraded often, and and same with my website. I need to do updates to it, but who has the time when I'm busy?
Hey, I can put you on.
Everyone else's.
I can put you on. Ben could do it for you.
There you go.
No, that's a little more complicated. Like I can say, we're pretty down to earth, but we got that. No, but it's so you.
Huh? You could do it. He could do it.
I think you could.
Maybe. Let's not try. But so like you don't really upgrade your computer that much, but yet you I don't know. Okay, that's cool.
But when I do, I go all out. I go for the well, I guess that's not all out, the 960. I guess there's a 970, and I don't know what else above that. But it seemed to be a good price per performance. You know what I mean? It wasn't the newest thing out, but it's still high end, and that's the way I usually do things. I usually don't go to the top of the line crazy, because you pay such a premium for the very top of the line one. Usually the last year's model is a good way to go in my experience.
Yeah, if you want to be up there, but you don't want to spend the highest or top dollar, because I think the highest one is still the Titan. I think that's still selling for close to 900 or 1,000, somewhere up there. And then
$900 for a video card.
Yeah, you must.
Yeah, the Titan is the one that they use in supercomputers to do that kind of stuff.
To do what kind of stuff? What kind of supercomputers need that kind of video card?
For rendering simulations of like space and time and
and DreamWorks videos.
Pretty much, and Disney. But the 970 was I'm kind of glad that you didn't get that one, because that was the one in the news lately about how they were preventing overclocking, and they were issuing refunds and patches and all this kind of stuff.
But then they fixed that. They turned it off. They said they had another thing that would defeat. They realized that was a wrong move, and they came out with another patch that would allow people to overclock.
Yeah, but I think someone might have lost their job over it.
Okay.
Yeah, so 960, good choice.
So the 970, they were preventing overclocking.
Hey, I'm looking at the magic talking desk from Mike Cermak. It's actually making sounds, but I hear but I just see an empty chair. Did you? That's an amazing video card, man. Invisible mode. You go.
I just crawled under the desk. I thought, I'm just going to go plug in this HDMI cable now. Yeah, it's just going to take a second. How hard can it be to plug in an HDMI cable, right? And I'm down here, and I don't know if you can actually see it with the video quality here, but what's exciting is that there's little plastic covers over the HDMI port, and apparently it's set up just perfectly so that the metal of my computer prevents them from coming out.
Oh, I mean, all that effort was for nothing?
Oh, I haven't given up yet, Craig. I'm just going to wait for Ben to come up here and finish installing it for me.
Let's see. I believe when the case gets in the way, that's when you do a hardware reconfiguring with a hammer and a screw gun if necessary.
It's funny you should mention that. I had that issue a little bit earlier. This card is so much longer than my previous one that it actually bumped into the hard drives in my case. And so I told Craig I was going to use a hammer to reconfigure the hard drives. I don't think he found that as funny.
I suggested a sledgehammer, and true to form, Jack in the chat room just said the same thing. Sledgehammer is the best tool. Good for all.
Did I lose my connection?
No, well, I still see you. You can hear us?
No, you're good.
You're good. We hear you. You hear us? Uh-oh.
Oh man, it's like a scene out of like a Hollywood thriller movie. It's like, did you hear that noise? What was that? And then the feed cuts. We're come back, and there's just gonna be like a gore splattered room with like his computer sitting in the middle. The computer got him.
We heard enough from him to say, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that," and then the whole thing freezes. Yeah, he just got
Okay, well, until he gets back, that's actually he kind of divulged a little secret for anyone who's listening who does not know the secret of tech support. And there's Mike, by the way.
There he's back. What happened?
Did I mention what a wonderful laptop I'm using here, and how completely reliable and wonderful it is?
What did you do?
I don't know. You were in the middle of telling me what Jack in the chat room was saying, which I was so excited to hear because I can't be in the chat room, and then all of a sudden it locks up.
You said sledgehammer is the best tool. Good for all the cameras.
Sledgehammer, that's what I was missing.
Yeah.
All right, so in the meantime, I've managed to get the HDMI cable in, and now I think we're ready for the moment of truth. Are you prepared for this? Do you have some music to build up this moment to see if I forgot to plug something in?
Yes, I do. Here, go for it. And?
We have lights. Let's see if we get some video. That'll be the real question, won't it?
Yes, it will be. My drummer's getting tired.
So far, no video. So far, no video. But I got lots of blinking lights. Really isn't any video yet. All right, Ben, you're on. I got hard drive activity. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it's there.
It's there.
It
does look a little bit pink, though.
Yeah, I thought that was my Google Hangouts feed. Yeah, it looks like it's pink.
Yeah, it's definitely pink. I'm thinking that there is very likely a cable loose. But
you know what happened?
What happened?
Tell me what
I actually
happened.
know why it's pink.
I can't wait to hear.
You probably bought one of the special Valentine's editions ones that was left over. So
it was on
that's
special.
Actually, yeah,
it was right by the candy hearts.
Yeah, so that's actually going to be a continuous thing.
That's the Valentine's version of that card, the graphics card. Everything you think.
That's very clever. He came up with that pretty quick, Greg.
Yeah, he did. He had to chip off the old block, I guess.
Is that what it is?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Craig's a blockhead.
Alright, I might just be able to tighten this down. Let's see here. It did feel a little loose.
Could be. Maybe one of the RG you didn't hook up the B.
I had the R and the G, but no B. Is that what you said?
Yeah, exactly.
No, it still doesn't look right. Isn't that funny? And I don't have anything on HDMI yet.
You didn't have any incompatibility with the power supply unit because those two require pretty different power.
Jonathan in the chat room says a pin isn't making a connection.
I think Jonathan in the chat room is right. I'm going to. I think if it wasn't enough power, I probably wouldn't be getting any output.
True, you wouldn't.
But I suspect. See, the problem is that little monitor is coming off of the DVI adapter here.
Ah.
And I'm using the old DVI adapter that was laying here. I'll switch to the new one just for fun, maybe.
Okay.
Of course, thinking that it was a loose cable, I just tightened these down so much now that that it won't move.
This video is the Computer America video is being brought to you by 20,000 Leagues Beneath Mike's Desk.
Yeah, I hope you can't. I don't know the quality of the camera here. I hope you can't see all the dust and.
Are you kidding? Well, we can see every fur ball that's there, every bunny, every
We
single.
can count, we can count every nose hair.
They're they're waving back to us. I mean, this is better. This is better than Al Capone's locker. You know, we're seeing things here that haven't been made public.
There's the connector. Adapter.
That's it. Well, we told you that
now,
the video would be entertaining. That's it. We want this stuff. This is good.
One thing that Michael mentioned earlier that maybe a lot of people out there don't really know is that the best form of tech support is actually Google.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like almost everyone. Yeah, like pretty much everyone who gets a computer science degree or works with computers or tech support, really, they're just really good Googlers and they know how to read outdated forums about what's wrong.
Hey, you know who we had on the show last night, Mike? We had the assistant professor of computer science for MIT.
Wow.
Last night, yeah, we had.
I think he knows a thing or two about computers.
Yeah, we were talking about something called UrWeb. You would like this. It's a programming language for developing websites called UrWeb.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah. You and a lot of other people.
He said it was along the same lines as PHP. So.
I love PHP.
Yeah.
That's my preferred language.
But this replaces it. This uses more mathematical models. He was talking about the compiler and how it can find mistakes and the process that goes through. It was actually very interesting. You should if you get a chance to.
That was last night?
Last night, yeah, the first hour of the show. It was Professor Adam. I can't remember his last name, but he's.
Oh, it rhymed with Chipotle.
Yeah, Ben asked that on the air. He asked this professor of Harvard, of MIT. You know, did you know your name rhymes with Chipotle?
This is why I'm here.
Reminds me of that episode of Seinfeld. Ben's probably too young to remember it, but there's a classic episode of Seinfeld where he doesn't remember his girlfriend's name, or says it rhymes with a woman's body part. Yeah. I wish I was in the chat room now. I'm sure there are people there quoting it right now because it is a classic.
Adam Chipotle, and yes, I remember that Seinfeld one.
It was Rose because it rhymed with nose. That was it.
Yeah, let's go with that, Craig.
Okay.
All right, so I put the new DVI adapter on, and the screen is still noticeably pink.
Uh-oh.
And I've got two screens on here. I've got one that's through the VGA, has a VGA plug, which is what's connecting through the DVI adapter, and then I've got my main screen, which is through the HDMI. It's got no video yet, but I suspect that's because the computer's still booting up and Windows hasn't connected it yet.
There's another possibility that you haven't considered, Mike.
I'm ready.
Your video card is defective.
In my new video card?
That'd be bad.
That would be bad. I wonder. I think I've got enough power here, but I do have like 3 hard drives in this computer. It's a 550 watt power supply.
How many watts does that card require? I mean, that could be
300 maybe. If only Ben were here.
Yeah, but that's.
I'm just saying, going from a 9 series up to a 960, that is a huge jump in power consumption.
Maybe
I think the old video card had a resolution of 640 by 480.
Maybe you don't have enough power.
That's a possibility. That actually is a possibility. I didn't think that would be an issue.
Do you have a spare power supply in your house that you could use?
No, I don't think I do. Not here.
Just get your car battery.
Cermak doesn't have a spare power supply? Gee. What is this world coming to?
That's pretty bad. I do at the office, but not here.
Quick, run to the office.
Yeah, so we're supposed to be getting a pretty bad winter storm this evening.
Oh, well then don't go to the office then.
No, that's why I was hoping to be able to get this computer fixed up. Maybe I'd be able to work from home tomorrow.
Maybe. Is there any way to hook up the power supply from your car?
That's what Ben said. That's 400. That's 400 volts.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Your car doesn't have enough electrical output to power your graphics card?
No, I think it's got plenty of watts. I think the voltage might be too high.
Oh, you want to fry
I think this card probably runs on 12 volts rather than 400 volts.
Oh, Okay.
would probably be
Well,
my guess.
You can get it. You can get
That's
it.
just something you have to go into the BIOS and you have to alternate. Go from 12 volts up to 400. It's a
Oh,
setting in there.
oh, I see. That's
You
cool.
have an inverter. You could use an inverter.
Yeah.
It would convert it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you'd have to convert. You'd have to drop it down. You need like a transformer, I think. I don't know.
Well.
So I think it's detecting my card now. My slow old machine has come up, and it says there's a standard VGA video card in there.
That's not a good sign, Mike.
No. No, that's not a good sign.
It's probably taking the graphics that's on your motherboard. If there's a graphics. Yeah.
Yeah, it says the driver isn't appropriate for it. It's searching online for software, so I'll keep you updated on that.
Okay.
But hey, you gotta turn on. That's the hard part.
That's the right way to look at things, Ben. I like that. Glass is half full.
And I'm glad our listeners are watching this or seeing it because this is part of the diagnostics tool that you go through it.
And you just never know what you're going to be up against.
That's true. That's true. This is the part of the fun of tech support too. Can you imagine the other guy, on the other end saying, "Well, why is my videos pink?"
And then a smart aleck like Ben saying, "Oh, it's a Valentine's Day special. Don't worry about it."
Right. And then the tech support will come out and threaten to kill you. Oh wait, that actually
that did really happen.
Speaking of that, that's one of the stories and things I want to talk about. Tech support person speaking to.
By the way, Craig.
Yes.
By the way, Craig, best segue in the show's history. Good job.
Thank you.
That was pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a good segue. I got complimented. So yes, there's a story today that Mike actually came out with that a guy was one of these big tech support scams, pretending to call you up and help you from Microsoft because you're having a computer problem. Well, he had someone call him up, and he actually had a recording. I listened to the recording. The tech support guy, wound up threatening to kill him and chopping up little pieces and killing him, coming to his door. I mean, it was spooky.
Yeah, it's really creepy, and it's one of those things. I'm sure everyone listening is aware of it and has heard of these scams going around. People calling you out of the blue saying, "I'm from Microsoft Tech Support or whoever's tech support, and we can detect a virus on your computer and just let us remote in and fix it for you."
That will never happen. By the way,
that doesn't. Yeah.
Never ever going.
Only if it's a scam does that happen.
If somebody from tech support supposedly calls you up out of the blue and says, "Well, guess it's a scam, scam."
Correct.
Yes, exactly.
And so, yeah.
I was just going to say, do not feel bad, though, if you fall for it, because I've fallen for credit card scams on the cell phone before. Even on your best day, you can still get caught, but hopefully you'll be able to pick them out.
I can't believe he fell for that, too. I just sent him a text saying, "What's your credit card number?" And he just replied right back. It wasn't difficult at all.
Yeah,
he said he was from my bank. It was off by like one letter. I'm like, close enough. I mean, I knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, it was Bank of America.
Seems secure.
So close.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, you guys are too much.
Bank
of America. Yep, that sounds about right. So this guy in the story here, he's from Canada and got this call out of nowhere, and he said that exactly as you said, Craig, that he claimed that that the computer was corrupt and he wanted to remote in to show him how bad it is. And for those listening, that is when they then put viruses and stuff on your computer, when they remote in to show you the viruses that are on your computer. Mm-hmm. And so he goes in and says, he eventually admitted. He said the guy in Canada says he eventually became suspicious, and then the caller in India eventually admitted that he was calling from India, and then said, "If you come to India, you know what we do to you Anglo people?" And he said, "No." It says, "We cut them up into little pieces and throw them in the river."
And wow. This is for tech support, not some kind of drug deal, right?
Right? Like, gee whiz. Oh, yeah, so that's a little bit over the top.
Yeah, I would say so. And he had an Indian accent, too. Hello, what's your tech support?
Sure.
and he said,
Oh, that's bad. Someone in the chat room said that they'll chop you up into 64 bits.
oh,
This is why I miss the chat room. They're always so fun. I love
Oh, that's rough.
it. It is excellent.
that's it.
The story goes on to say that Canadians lose more than $347 million annually to this scam. $347 million annually of Canadian. And now, I don't know if that's in Canadian money. That might only be like $20 US. I don't know conversion. $20 or $30. I don't know how that works. But
Boy.
one of the administrators on our website on techeye.org, did I plug that yet? On techeye.org, where you can go for tech support, we have several administrators. We have 3 administrators, myself and two women, and then we have several moderators, about a dozen or so moderators, who keep an eye on things to make sure people are being appropriate and not giving obviously bad advice and that sort of stuff. But one of our administrators, one of the top people on the site, is from Canada, and I always try to give her a hard time and ask her how her igloo's doing and that kind of good stuff.
Jack,
She would have.
Jack in the chat room says, sounds like the tech support is not going to get Employee of the Month. No.
I think you're right.
Of
That's
course,
scary stuff to have someone call you out of the blue anyway as a scam, but then to threaten you like that?
yeah.
I mean, that's just... And what's really a shame, other than Ben, a lot of the people who fall for this kind of stuff... a lot of the people who fall for this kind of stuff are oftentimes elderly and older people who don't know any better. And then there's Ben, who fell for it as well. But it could happen to anyone. That just goes to show. You can't just assume.
That's right.
Well, I guess at some...
We got music. We're at the bottom of the hour, so we'll continue on with this lighthearted stuff. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. It's Mike Cermak. TechGuy.org is here with us. We'll be right back with him. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
So, you came back. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Seagate ST2000DX001 Desktop SSHD. SSHD, not just a hard drive. And not an SSD. You're going to like this. With a special set of storage requirements in mind for populating NAS devices underlying a zero-footprint scanning station, we turned to Seagate for their recommendations, and a day and a half later received 2 of their ST2000DX001 drives with some noteworthy attributes. This is a solid-state hybrid drive, SSHD. meaning 8 gig of flash is there as a cache for a big boost in throughput. It's a 3.5-inch desktop, 2 terabyte, 7,200 RPM drive with a 64 meg DRAM cache and a 6 gigabit per second SATA 3, actually 3.1 interface. That's more than enough capacity overhead for our application. It may also be more than enough speed for scanning activities, but that speed makes a significant contribution to speeding up OCR, virus scans, and overnight backup chores. Bottom line, the Seagate solid-state hybrid 2 terabyte, 3.5-inch ST2000DX001 drive puts a premium on speed, less so on price. This is Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. It's 33 minutes past the hour. We have Mike Cermak here, and he is playing tech support to himself. And we are talking about this story about tech support getting uppity and scary and that kind of thing. We're just talking about how these people call with fake tech support services, and they have started threatening, apparently, or at least one person has reported threatening, and it's weird to hear because when they first want to call you, they want to act professional and courteous and that kind of thing. They want to try to trick you into believing that they're actually from Microsoft. They're actually trying to help you fix your computer. That they're doing you a favor. But I guess at some point, someone realized, hey, what am I going to get in trouble for? Microsoft's not going to come fire me. I don't even work for Microsoft. So then they kind of switched it over to bullying to an extreme.
Well, also you could hear in the background. It sounded like there were kids running around in the background. It was like it's from some guy's house or something. By the way, Jonathan in the chat room, Mike wants me to pass along a message to you. He says the chat is IRC. He says you could use an app on your phone to get into the chat.
Oh, well, that's an interesting idea.
Okay, maybe you should try that just to see if you can do it.
Yeah, just throw out the whole computer. Just use your phone.
Who needs a graphics card?
That'd save me a lot of effort.
So that's basically. I mean, the bottom line is, Microsoft is not going to call you to give you technical support. It doesn't work that way. Anytime that happens, or any tech support company calling you out of the blue, they're not tech support. They're there just to do you bad things to you. Install malware, remote take over your computer with your approval, and then they get in, and then all kinds of bad things happen. So just the answer is no, 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 no. Just don't do it. Okay,
that's right.
That's the lesson.
Just say no.
Just say no. So the other story in the news today is this was from TechCrunch. Mike brought it to our attention as a freak security flaw discovered lurking in many computers for decades.
Oops.
For decades, tens of years. Apple promises a fix next week. Okay.
Yeah, it's an unusual problem. What happened is that there used to be a law on the books saying that you couldn't have strong encryption exported outside of the U.S. if you created a product. Yeah, if you created a product or a program or whatever, and you used strong, AKA safe encryption, then you couldn't export it to other countries, and that changed. But a lot of programs were written before that, including there's this package called OpenSSL that a lot of systems use, both Android and Apple both commonly use this, and it was written originally before that law was changed, and when you couldn't use the strong encryption, so it still supported the very old, not safe encryption. And now there's some people who suddenly realized that and are taking advantage of it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting one. I think that it's going to get updated pretty quickly, yeah, it's an interesting potential, and it's just interesting that it lasted for so long without someone noticing it.
Yeah, really. I mean, we've done some recent news about what was it was it the Seagate drives, Ben, that had the code that they thought the NSA might have put in there that
Yep.
access. There was that recent story, and then of course one we did last night about Apple Pay. Was now proving to be not as secure as they would like to. Although the Apple Pay thing, it's not a technological thing; it's more of the they call it, social engineering,
Yeah. Mhm.
so people can get into it that way. The technology is there, but people can be careless with it and can get
Well,
compromised.
and technology is always changing. Even when that's the other thing. We were going to talk about wireless internets a bit, but wireless networks. And even with wireless networks, we had WEP encryption originally, which was supposed to be wired equivalent to privacy, where it's supposed to be just as secure as a wire. And WEP encryption now is super easy to crack. You should never use that. And then there's WPA and WPA2 now. And they came up with WPS, which was the quick encryption, where you could just hit a button on your router and then your computer could connect to it. But then people found ways of hacking that. And it's just one of those things where it's just a continual process of having to keep things updated and always be protected against whatever people have figured out most recently to hack into.
Yeah. So now I understand. I always like to keep up what you're doing with your Tesla. Did you, we did a story. We actually didn't get to the story, but evidently Tesla they've come out with a program for the car that will make your display look like you're one of the Lotus.
Are you talking about the Easter egg? Because it's not a program. Like I think it's hidden in the Model S. I want to
Yeah, it
say.
is in the S. Yep, that's
the
right.
Lotus Turbo Esprit that turned into a submarine. I had a Lotus Turbo Esprit for the longest time. That's a great little car, and it was the same model. It was a
Now,
special.
did yours turn into a submarine?
No, that was one thing that it did not do. It had other
Oh.
features though that James Bond.
Are you sure? Did you ever try?
No, no.
We took it to the boat ramp and it floated.
I think you should have tried. Yeah, so what it is that there's a place on the Tesla screen where you can adjust the suspension, whether how low or how high it is off the ground. And that screen, that graphic shows your Tesla and tries to give you a representation of how high it is off the ground.
Yep.
And so there's this Easter egg in there where you hold down a button in order to type in a service code. That's used by the service technicians to get into hidden menus. And you hold it down and it asks for your service code number. And if you type in 007 as your service code number, then it changes that graphic to the submarine car. It's pretty funny.
And
yeah, it's pretty clever.
They left it in there, and I guess it's why not? I mean,
have some fun. What will it harm? There's another Easter egg that I'm aware of in there that isn't nearly as exciting. But in the release notes screen, in the area where it shows you what version of the Tesla software you're running, you can hold down on a certain area, and it'll show you a picture of a bunch of the employees and a Tesla car, and one of those credits type screens.
Yeah. Okay. I think you're right. The submarine's more fun.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
How did somebody discover that, though?
I'm not quite sure how that happened. I think someone discovered that that actual image file existed in the new version of the firmware some time ago, but I don't think anyone knew exactly how to get it to display. I think that people watch the firmware and look through the files and see what's in there, and they saw this image there, but I don't know how he figured out to do that. Maybe just dumb luck and testing, and what if I put 007 in here?
You think Elon Musk knew about it?
Oh yeah, I think so. Well, he owns one. I don't know if you knew that part.
No.
He owns one of those. He owns that vehicle, not just one of. He owns the submarine vehicle that was used in the movie.
Ah, so that's probably why.
That's exactly why. Yep.
Okay.
And one of the programmers thought they might get on Elon's good side by hiding that little Easter egg in there for him.
And
I suspect is what happened.
And he liked it, so he said, "Let it stay in there."
Yeah, let it be. Yeah, sure. He's got a good sense of humor, I think.
Maybe he's just making all of his cars backwards compatible in case he ever commandeers one.
You never know. Well, he's talked about building a submarine car. He says that the engine. I saw an interview with him, and he says the engineering, the physical design of that car actually doesn't lend itself to be that great in the water. He said there were a couple things that he would have to change to make it really useful for that. But he said he could do it, and it sounds like he intended to.
It's that this reality thing keeps getting in the way. You have all this.
It's that reality is always getting in the way, isn't it?
It is. It's terrible. But I thought that was very. So what's happening with your Tesla? Now I understand you're going to really venture out on the edge. You're going to live on the bleeding edge here of getting yourself into trouble.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. So next week we are driving from Pennsylvania. We live near Washington D.C., just very south central Pennsylvania, to Denver, Colorado, which is 1,500 miles each way. It's a long trip, and we're doing it in the Tesla with no gasoline, just stopping to recharge periodically. And rather looking forward to that. I think it's going to be an interesting adventure.
Now, what happens if you find yourself in Death Valley and there's no charging station?
Yeah, if I end up in Death Valley, then I've probably taken a wrong turn somewhere. In Albuquerque, I think is the way that goes. If I remember Bugs Bunny properly. Yeah. So the nice thing is that there are a lot of charging stations out there. Tesla has the superchargers, which is what we intend to use as much as we can because they're much, much faster and they're all free to use. But there are other public charging stations available out there. They're just much slower, and some of them charge.
What would happen if you get there and for some reason it's closed?
Yeah, it's funny you should ask that. Then you go to one of the public charging stations, and there's several different types of those. There's some that take hours to charge, but there's others. There's one called a CHAdeMO, which is a Japanese standard that a lot of the Nissans can use. That's a level 3 charger. It's almost as fast as a supercharger, and there's usually one or two of those at least available in every big city, and it'll continue to grow. And I'm borrowing an adapter that will allow me to plug my Tesla into one of those if I need to. I don't know that I'll have the need to, but that's going to be my backup just in case, so I can still get a real fast charge if I need it.
Why are you borrowing it? Why don't you just buy it?
There's a waiting list for it. I am on the waiting list, but yes, but they just started shipping them about a month ago, and my number hasn't come up yet.
And it won't be in time before this trip.
It'll probably arrive the day after we leave, I assume. Isn't that the way?
Of course.
That's the way these things work. Yeah. So, I don't anticipate it being a problem. It'll be interesting. I think the biggest part of the adventure will be doing it with a 4-year-old and keeping him entertained along the way. And it might be a good thing. Our plan is to stop about every 2 or 3 hours of driving and charge for half an hour to an hour. And I think that'll work well with his schedule as well. I think he'll need to run out some energy, let some energy go while we recharge some energy.
Well, have they come up with an adapter?
If only we could come in somehow,
Have the adapter that would just suck some energy from the kid,
That's what we need. That would be perfect.
Then you don't have to worry. Then he would get discharged, you would get recharged, and you wouldn't have to stop.
I feel like we are like two good / bad ideas away from like the Matrix.
The Matrix.
What could go wrong?
Right. Let me just plug you into this car. You'll be fine.
Well, I think it was off the air before I was telling Craig about a guy in Russia.
Yes.
Whose Tesla Model S ran out of charge, and so he got it strapped to a truck and had him pull him down the road toward the charger, I assume, but then realized that having the Tesla in drive and being pulled down the road, essentially as far as the Tesla was concerned, it was just drifting down a mountain, and it was absorbing that energy like a hybrid does. It has regenerative braking, and so whenever the motor is spinning and it's not giving out power, it's absorbing that power. So it was actually charging the battery while he was just being pulled down the road.
Jack,
but that'll be a good plan. I think if I run out of energy, Craig can drive up here, tie my car to his submarine.
Yep, that would work. Jack says that several Walmarts now have charging stations in the parking lot.
That's pretty cool. I haven't run into one of those yet, but that could be. That's another thing I was going to mention. Built into the Tesla GPS, the navigation system, is a button to see superchargers, and it'll list all your closest superchargers and give you navigation straight to them. But there's also an app you can get on your phone or on the Tesla screen called PlugShare. And if you go to plugshare.com, it's free, and you can look at it, and it's fun to look at even in your area or wherever listeners happen to be. You can see where charging stations are, and there's a lot more out there than what people realize.
Now, can you get a supercharger for your home so you can plug it into the wall?
Superchargers you can't, but they do have high-speed wall connectors, and I'm actually in the process of installing one of those in my house. Right now, since I've had the car, which is since November or something, I've just been charging it off of the 120, 110 outlet in my garage, and using a supercharger that's located not too far from here periodically. But I haven't even had a chance to install this high-powered wall connector yet, and we started drilling the hole to do that because the electrical panel's on the wrong side of the house from where the garage is. So we figured out, if we drill a hole through here, we can run this, because it's a pretty big cable it needs for that much power, and ended up accidentally drilling a hole through the ceiling in my basement.
Ouch! Is it 220 or 110?
Well, it'll use either, but obviously the 220 is much faster, and that's what the high-powered one will use.
220. Okay.
Yep.
And so you can charge your car would it charge overnight full power or what?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, with the high-powered one, it would probably be only a couple of hours, depending on how much you used it that day,
How about
if
your
that.
electrical outlet? How long does it take for a full charge from that?
Off of a regular 110 outlet, it usually gets 4 or 5 miles per hour. So if you have it overnight for 12 hours, you might get 50 miles back.
Okay, so that's really
So
not
it's
bad.
it's
Yeah.
very slow.
Yeah. Wow. Why would they do that? I guess it just.
It's a limitation of the outlet, I think, that the outlets are only designed to have so much continuous load.
Don't they have amps though? I've seen 10 amps. They have 15 amp and 20 amp outlets. I've seen those. They're still 110.
Yeah, I think if you connected to one of those, you could go faster. I think that the high power connector can go to either 40 amp or 80 amp, depending on what kind of wire you run to it.
Ooh, okay,
So that's quite a bit of power, and that's at 220 volts. So that's quite a bit of power.
Yeah, it is exactly.
Yeah.
Does your washer and dryer and everything use 220?
It does. The dryer does. The washer doesn't. But our range is as well is 220, and I actually have an adapter that could plug into that if I needed to.
Okay, so you could cook and charge the car at the same time. That's good.
Well, maybe not at the same time. I guess if I plugged into the dryer, then I could. But
so you can dry your clothes and charge your car.
one or the other, right? Yeah.
One or the other. Which is more important?
Clothing isn't that important.
Soggy underwear or drive more miles, whichever it is.
Well, you can just attach the clothing to the side of the car as you drive down the road. And flap in the breeze.
Yeah, that's the answer. That'll dry it. Okay.
Problem solved.
Okay. Oh man. So where are we now here? What are we doing?
Oh wait, how's your computer going? Did you fix everything?
Oh,
it's still installing the driver.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
And that's on 220 or 110?
I think it's on 12 volt. I think that might be my problem.
I'm
installing
the driver. How big is that driver? My gosh.
150 meg.
That shouldn't take that long.
No, it shouldn't. It's suspiciously long. I'm not sure what else my hard drive is doing in the background.
But I might have to put some PAM on it.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's something that's going on in the background. I think there may be some backup or some antivirus scan or something else that's eating up some CPU cycles and hard drive spins.
If you do use PAM, make sure you use the high heat version.
Yeah,
exactly. Not the baking version or the butter flavored, but the high heat.
Well, butter flavored. Well,
they do have butter flavored. Yes.
That sounds good.
It is. Okay.
It freaks me out because I'm used to butter and I know what butter is. Butter is a stick of fat and butter. I mean, I don't know what butter is, but when you spray it from a can, it's like when you get that cheese whiz out of a can. It's like it says it's cheese. I don't believe you though.
You know better.
Yeah, it's like Cool Whip.
Exactly.
What is Cool Whip?
Yeah.
It tastes wonderful. It's vanilla. It's like milky, but there's no dairy in it whatsoever. It's hydrogenated vegetable oil. What is that?
It's delicious, though.
I know.
There's no fighting that.
No. Oh my gosh. So are you going to go see Chappie? It's coming out this Friday.
What is it? I don't even know anything about it.
Chappie is the movie about the little robot who was one of the first from the guy who did District 9, the movie.
I love District 9. That is an excellent movie.
Same director. It's a story about a robot that this programmer figures out how to make it intelligent, artificial intelligence. It becomes the first sentient machine. Maybe
that sounds terrifying.
Yeah, the predecessor to Skynet. Exactly.
Yes. And going back to our Tesla conversation, have you heard Elon Musk talk about these sort of things, about artificial intelligence?
Yes, and
concerned about it.
Yeah, Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking, they're all saying that AI.
A lot of smart people
are saying that please, that's not the way to go. You can really get into trouble, and there must be something to it. I mean,
yeah.
Life. Quite frankly, I mean, if computers become sentient, I mean, what's to stop them from, saying, "Hey, we're better than you," and goodbye?
It sounds so paranoid to say that, but it's true.
Yeah.
They could pretty easily look at us and say, humanity is kind of doing some terrible things to the Earth. Maybe
get rid of them.
We'll just go ahead and remove this virus and. Wait a minute.
Well, Sigourney Weaver is one of the stars in the movie, and what's his name was interviewing her tonight. I was watching John. Uh, was this
Who, Stewart?
John Stewart was in it,
Mm.
and then he was talking. He says, "Listen," he says to Sigourney, he says, "Listen, I'm afraid of my Roomba."
That's good. I like that.
Exactly.
Have you guys seen the battle Roombas? Like the game that people play? They get two Roombas and they tie balloons to the back of them, and then they equip them with kitchen knives, and they wait until they pop each other.
You have way too much time on your hands, man.
No,
I'm
I
just
can
saying.
safely say that I have not seen that.
It happens. It happens.
Okay. Ah.
We'll have
Well-
to take your word for it.
Yeah, I think so.
It's right up there with people's cats riding their Roombas. It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. Okay. So anyway, Chappie's coming out this weekend. That's a movie that I would like to see.
So is it supposed to be a scary movie, or is it Chappie doesn't strike me as a scary name?
No, I don't think. I think it's just it's a story about this robot who becomes sentient and what goes on. It's I don't think it's supposed to be scary at all. I think it's
supposed to be it's like an underdog, which is Chappie, and then he finds his independence, and then he, I don't know, probably gets crushed.
It's got a very good cast. It's got Sigourney Weaver. It's got Hugh Jackman is in it. Stars in it. So it's got really good actors and Chappie. So.
But it seems like Chappie, and then the new Age of Ultron trailer for the Avengers just came out, like the number 3, the third trailer. And for that one, apparently the main enemy in the new Avengers movie is AI gone awry. Thank you, Tony Stark. But
seems like a recurring theme here.
AI seems to be a hot button topic for Hollywood now.
Well, but it's been around for. I mean, did you see the movie AI? That was a Steven Spielberg production. The little kid.
I remember the previews for that, but I didn't see it. I did see iRobot. Does that count?
iRobot's different. I mean, that's also, I thought, a very good movie with Will Smith.
It's also AI.
Yeah, but it's also about AI. That's very true. But the movie AI, I went to see that with a date, and she got so angry at me for taking her to see that movie because it was so depressing. Never went out with her again, by the way, after that.
Just because of the movie. Keep telling yourself that. It was just because of the movie.
No, really. It's an awful movie. I mean, because it was very depressing. It was,
I believe it.
no spoilers, but it is. It's a depressing film. Very depressing.
Have you ever seen the movie? Why are we on movies? Have you ever seen the movie WALL-E, the Disney movie?
Of course, I love it.
I think that's a very depressing movie.
No, I mean the humans.
I find that we've destroyed the Earth, and we're all just a bunch of fat people floating around in a spaceship having food fed to us by machines, and maybe it just strikes a little bit too true. I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, I don't see it depressing, but I think it definitely strikes too true sometimes.
Maybe something funny about me destroying the Earth is depressing. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that last movie with Will Smith, that it was science fiction, was about a destroyed Earth. Earth wasn't destroyed, but it was, it became hostile.
You're talking about like After Earth or whatever?
Yeah, that didn't get great reviews though.
Yeah, it was okay. It was good.
It looked good, but the reviews kind of kept me off of it. I should have tried it.
No, you should. Well, you can watch on Netflix or one of the services now. I'm sure you can see it.
I just watched an excellent movie on Amazon. It wasn't on Netflix, but called Tucker, the Man and His Dream, or something like that.
Oh, yes, I saw that. Yes, that's a true story.
It was wonderful. Not only is it a true story and a fascinating story, but it was a really well-produced movie.
Yeah, that was with the Bridges, Jeff Bridges, I believe it was.
I think you're right.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges. But it was about the American automobile, the Tucker, and it was way ahead of its time. And because it was so far ahead of its time, is I think what led to its demise. It was an advanced car. It had so many things that we now incorporate in our cars. But it didn't make it. If you have a Tucker today, there are only a few of them left around, and they're extremely valuable too.
You're right. There were 51 made, and
Hmm.
there's about 47 that are still roadworthy, which is really saying something because they were built in 1948.
Yeah, they were built to last. That's the other thing. They were built to last. There was no planned obsolescence on those cars.
That's right. And they were, it's so much amazing technology that they were looking to put into them, like disc brakes and seat belts and safety glass that would break away instead of shattering, and a front headlight that would turn with your steering wheel as you went around corners.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first ones to have padded safety area around the interior of the seat, so you wouldn't have these sharp edges. And it had a roll bar integrated into the roof. And
there's a light. I'd buy one. So
someone suggested, they knew I was big into Tesla and all that sort of stuff, and they said, "Oh, you'd really get a kick out of this," and it was really fascinating.
Yeah, exactly.
Highly suggest that one.
I can't believe this. We're out of time. What happened to the hour? We're having so much fun.
Hey, well, if you want, I can hang around for a couple minutes in the next hour and do a quiz. I don't know if you have someone already scheduled. I'm just saying.
No, let's do that. Let's do the quiz, and then we'll get to the news and everything too. But so let's do that. Well, because we every month, Mike Cermak comes with a trivia quiz that Ben and I like to play. And I think, what's the score now? Ben,
I will check on the break.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you've won every time, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's closer to like 6. It's like 6-3 or 5-3 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So we'll do that. Hey, by the way, if you're at Computer America, get into the contest. Our Logitech contest is up in full swing. Okay, get your entry in now. Go to our contest page at computeramerica.com. You can see the 3 great prizes we're giving away from Logitech: the gaming mouse, the webcam, and the Bluetooth speakers. Portable Bluetooth speaker. The entry form is right there on the Logitech page. Get over there, get your entry in now. It's really simple. You have a lot of fun doing it. You might win something really nice. So check it out. We're going to break just for a moment. Mike Cermak's going to stay with us at least for the next part of the hour. This is the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. We will be right back.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
Yes, you are.
I'm sorry, someone put a question mark at the bottom of my teleprompter. That was weird. I'm your co-host, Ben.
Well, you think that's weird? You should see Mike's. His is pink. Anyhow, we're continuing. Mike has agreed to stay with us at least for the first part of this hour to do his trivia contest that he does with us every month, and I think Ben keeps winning it. It
looks like we're 5-2 by my count. Just to give you an idea.
Ben 5, me 2. All right,
so you really need this win here, Craig, to start bringing the swing back.
Yeah, exactly.
You did win last month. So you just need to keep that ball rolling.
Yeah, I think he's won the last 2 months.
I did?
Yeah.
I did. Okay. Well, there you go.
So the quiz today, my intent was to talk about some interesting wireless problems I've had recently with wireless networks, and we got distracted by my video problems instead. So that'll have to wait until next month. But we're going to do the quiz today anyway because that's what I prepared. And I called it, based on a funny SSID that a lot of people have seen, Pretty Fly for a Wi-Fi. Yeah, there's some pretty funny names for wireless networks that are out there, and that was one that was radio appropriate that I could use.
Okay.
All right, so you guys ready?
I like it.
Ben's smiling already. All right, so you guys ready for some wireless networks, some Wi-Fi questions?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Ben's got his Google screen Oh, there you go.
Ben's got Google open. Craig's got Alta Vista open. Alta Vista jokes, they always kill. All right. So who's gonna? I guess Craig's up for the first question since he won last month. All right, Craig.
Sure.
So the Wi-Fi Alliance was formed as a trade association in what year? The Wi-Fi Alliance is the organization that owns the Wi-Fi logo and mark and all of that. It's a trade association that was formed in what year?
Wi-Fi. Well, let's see. That would have to be, I'd say in 95.
And Ben?
That's a good guess. And Wi-Fi, I guess, as a standard, probably didn't get there until about let's say about 95, and it's always earlier than I think. So I'm gonna say 96, because I would say like closer to like 2001, but I'm gonna say 96.
Okay.
Good guess. That 2001 would have been an even better guess. The correct answer is 1999.
Oh,
So that point goes to Ben.
All right.
wait a minute. 95, and he said when 96, so 2000. Okay, all right, goes to Ben. All right.
I'm not that great at math, but I've got that one.
Okay.
When it comes to counting to 3, I've got it.
Got it.
A business called GoGo Wireless is the largest provider of Wi-Fi to aircraft passengers. How many airlines offer Wi-Fi from GoGo?
How many airlines? Not airplanes, airlines.
Correct.
Okay, how many airlines? I don't even know how many airlines there are. I'm gonna say 173.
And
Yes.
Craig?
I would say maybe 7 airlines.
That's a big difference. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
173 versus 7. The correct answer is 12.
Well, there you go.
I'm not sure if there are
I don't fly
173 airlines.
There were anywhere near. That's why I didn't use that strategy.
You would have won if you said 172.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to say 172.9.
How do you have 0.9 airline? Exactly.
Yes.
0.9 with 0.9 stewardesses. No. Okay.
Okay. Question number 3, and we're tied right now, 1-1.
And we land successfully 0.9 times.
No, that's not good. I think you want to land successfully more. The landing really is one of the most important parts of the whole flight experience.
I would think. Okay.
All right. So the record for the longest unamplified Wi-Fi link belongs to the Italian Center for Radio Activities. And in 2007, they connected a 5 gigahertz access point that was located how many miles away? So this is the longest unamplified Wi-Fi link in Italy in 2007. How many miles did it go?
I have
And
to
this
go
is to Craig.
Okay. Last I heard, so the last, what was it? The wide land, or was it the? It was the really long. They were bagging like 30 miles for something like that. That had a Wi-Fi access, and that was called. It was called WLAN or something like that. It was so that then they were bagging 30 miles. So this is the longest one. I would say 50 miles.
And Ben?
Well, going from personal experience, my Wi-Fi cuts out after about 3 feet. So a world record. You know what? I'm gonna say 10 miles.
Oh boy, that's excellent. The point goes to Craig on that. The answer is 189 miles.
Yeah. Okay.
189 miles.
If we were answering the questions on a sheet of paper, I could just kind of switch my answers from 173 airlines to 173 miles.
You just got the question mixed up. Whenever I emailed you the questions in advance, you just accidentally reversed them.
That's it.
All right, so we're 2-1 with Craig in the lead.
Yeah.
And question number 4 is Wi-Fi generally runs at 2 different radio bands, 5 gigahertz and what?
2.4.
And Ben, do you want to disagree?
I'm not. No, it's 5 and 2.4 gigahertz because 2.4 usually gets schmucked up by the microwave.
Yeah, it does. It does get schmucked. That's the technical term. A lot of people don't know that. Schmucked up by the microwave is right. Uh, and there were some other ranges that were used as well, 900 megahertz and so on. But 500 and 5 gigahertz is certainly the most popular right now. So we're going to split the point on that one. We're going to give you each a point on that.
Oh, nice.
Because that was an awful easy one.
Yeah.
And I like you guys. So question number 5 is, in what year was the word Wi-Fi added to the dictionary?
Is this the Merriam-Webster dictionary or?
It is the Merriam-Webster dictionary. That's right. And this answer is to you first.
When was it incorporated? Wi-Fi. I'd
Oh
say.
yes, this is where youth and memory trumps Craig in his non-memory. I remember the question from earlier.
Wait, you're repeating this question again?
No, the earlier question was, when was the Wi-Fi Alliance formed? And I'll give you a hint, because I like you guys. The Wi-Fi was added to the dictionary after the Wi-Fi Alliance was formed. How's that for a clue?
What year was the Wi-Fi? I forgot.
No,
You have to have youth and memory in order to know that answer.
Yes, sir. Use that gray matter.
Maybe not beauty, but at least youth and memory.
Okay, I'll say 2006.
All right.
Are you kidding me? A standardization of 1999? It takes them 2 years for something to get into the dictionary. I'm going to say 2001.
And the correct answer is 2005.
Really? YOLO comes out, and like a year later it gets into the dictionary. Wi-Fi takes whatever.
Are you serious? Is YOLO really in the dictionary?
I don't know.
The
Probably
Webster
is by now.
dictionary. Urban Dictionary doesn't count, Ben. We're talking about a
Really?
real.
Okay, 2005 though. Okay.
All right.
I'm afraid is 4-2 in Craig's favor. But we've got 2 questions left, Ben, so you still have a chance to have a comeback.
All right.
Wi-Fi is standardized by the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineer, better known as IEEE. What is the standards number? And this will go to Craig.
Oh, the IEEE. What is the
You're looking at the chat room.
Now, what was the standard again?
Well, that's just it. The standard has a number in the IEEE book.
Oh.
And what is the number?
Well, what standard are we talking about? Wi-Fi? The Wi-Fi standard?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
This is our pretty fly for a Wi-Fi quiz. Everything's Wi-Fi related.
Okay. What is the number? I would say 802. 802.
And Ben?
I'm going to go a little more specific because, when trying to answer a question, you should go specific and not broad and try to cheat your way in. 802.11.
I'm afraid Ben was a little bit closer on that one.
802.11. Yeah, exactly.
He was close by a very specific amount.
Yes. Okay.
So to make which is great because it makes it a little bit exciting because now we've got a 3-4 lead for Craig. So it all comes down to this final question.
So if I tie it up, is the tiebreaker guessing your Wi-Fi password?
Yes.
Yes, that's an excellent idea. And if you actually get it, I'm going to be rather concerned.
It's password. All right, go on.
Am I supposed to have a password on my Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
All right, Craig, are you ready for the final question?
Yes, I am.
There's an estimated 7 billion people in the world. How many Wi-Fi devices are there estimated to be?
And this one goes to me, right?
This will go to Ben first, yeah, because he answered 802.11.
Okay, so 7 billion people, that doesn't matter because so Wi-Fi devices include things like phones and computers and laptops and netbooks and tablets and dishwashers and crock pots and oh my god. I'm going to say, yeah, it's gotten to that point. I'm going to say there are 10 billion.
10 billion? 10 billion. I'll say 9,999,999,999.
That's my Wi-Fi password. How did you guess that?
1 under 10 billion.
Well, according to the statistics I have here, the estimate is 10 billion.
Oh!
Ladies and gentlemen, that right there is worth double points for getting it on the nose.
I'm afraid you're right. Yeah, I think that Ben wins this one.
There you go. All right.
Yep. That was very good.
Very good.
I'm impressed by the answers though. They were, more or less all very, very close though.
Yeah, well, there it is. Well, Ben.
And by the way, I looked up the major airlines in the world, counting Eurasia, Africa, South America, America. There's about 80 major airlines. So, not saying 173 was close. There are a lot of airlines, though.
I'll give you that. There's a lot of airlines, but
Well,
not all of them have Wi-Fi apparently. Now we
evidently.
know which.
Very true.
It was interesting when I was doing the statistics. One that I came across was there was a survey done by the Hotel Association, and they found that 38% of hotel travelers would not stay in a hotel that didn't have Wi-Fi.
Really?
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, no, I think that is interesting.
I think I'd be one of those people.
Yeah,
I think
with
I'd be
no
one of those
Wi-Fi.
people.
Well, now here's a question for you. Do you prefer paid Wi-Fi or free Wi-Fi when you're staying in a hotel? This is not a trick question, although it sounds like one.
I would prefer paid Wi-Fi because that means it's a little bit more discerning as to who's going to actually be on there. People have to pay.
That's the correct answer. You get a point. It doesn't count for anything, but you get a point for that. That's that's always been my preference as well. In my experience has been whenever I'm traveling, if the hotel has free Wi-Fi, it's terrible. You can barely, check email on it, much less,
And how can you complain? You can't complain because it's
Because it's free. That's right.
Yeah.
And you're exactly. And now there's still some paid Wi-Fi that's terrible, but I think you're exactly right. It's a little more discerning. You don't have everyone on there with their Netflix and downloading Windows updates and connected to torrents and doing whatever else to it. You've got far fewer people connected to it, and I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does. All right. Well, okay. So Ben wins it. So what are we now at what's the
It's
overall?
difficult for me to count that high. Let's see. Ben, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Do
5.
it in groups of 3.
So it looks like we're at 6-2.
All right.
That's not a good. That doesn't work out real well in your favor, Craig.
Oh well. I'll live with it.
Plus, you get one extra point for choosing correctly for the paid Wi-Fi, though.
Yeah, he hit it directly. Oh, I get 1 point for that because he hit 10 billion on the mark, but I get extra points. Okay, there it is.
Well, Craig,
Mike,
if you think about it this way, your guess was only one off. So
I was only one off. Exactly.
That's true. That's a good way to look at it. Well, and
Yeah.
here I'll finish up my my segment here by showing you my 2 screens online here. Hopefully, you can see that.
I see one is pink.
We want to have it as a happy ending.
Yeah.
One still is pink. I don't know why that old little screen is pink. That is a little troublesome. It could be. I might try another power supply and see if that makes a difference. Who knows?
Or maybe the screen actually is showing a pink
looked up the recommended power supply for that graphics card was 400 watts, so you should be okay.
I've got a 550, but I got 3 hard drives in there that are pulling on it as well. Yeah, I would think that would be okay.
Yeah.
I shall do some experimenting and I'll report back next month.
Absolutely.
Look forward to it.
The mystery of the pink screen. All right, Mike, listen, thank you so much again. The techguy.org is the website. And of course, we have a link to it always at computeramerica.com if you're looking for 24-hour technical support. Mike Cermak, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being with us out here tonight. It was a lot of fun. As usual, it's always a lot of fun.
Thanks a lot. Have a great night.
Take care.
Guys.
Good night.
Enjoy the rest of your show.
Good night.
Enjoy your pink screen. Okay.
Thank you. I will. Thank you.
All right. It was Mike Cermak, techguy.org. And we find ourselves about 15 minutes, 16 minutes of the hour, and
So
I guess
we have a little bit of time to. So, Greg, how are you? How are things?
I'm doing fine. I thought we were going to go right into computer and technology news. We should really do that.
Oh, by the way, we here at Computer America, I don't know if I can actually find the email. Last month, February, was DIY month. We only did about 5 or 6 DIY segments. We are very good at doing those. But this month, we have a whole new theme. So, and I believe this month's theme is science, which is kind of why we had, Mr. Adam here yesterday.
Mm-hmm. You see that
So,
song was science. Yeah, in fact, and then the song
oh,
goes science.
what weird science?
Yeah, weird science.
Yeah. So this month, I'm gonna go double check what this month's theme is, but every month from now on Computer America, we're going to have a theme. Just like April, I know for a fact is going to be
April.
financial awareness.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna have stuff like Intuit on, and a couple people on saying showing you how to do your finances using technology and things like that. But
Mhm.
I'm gonna go check out this month's. But I think this month is science.
Okay. Well, that sounds like fun. All right. Well, let's do some computer news and get things started. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for always on the ball. For free. Yes, exactly. Everything at the Slimware Utilities website is completely free, and you can check them out at check them all out at slimwareutilities.com. Download them all. You'll be happy that you did, and thank us for it. slimwareutilities.com. And in this first, we have a lot of interesting stories here, but this first story is again from Maximum PC. NVIDIA unveils Titan 10 graphics card at the GDC. This is the new top-end GPU, and I mean this is top end. I mean the Titan, this is the graphics card they use in supercomputers. Well, it's called the Titan 10 graphics card. Again by Paul Lilly. It says it was speculated that NVIDIA might announce a new Titan graphics card during the GDC, and that's what the company did in a somewhat dramatic fashion. As a matter of fact, it happened at the tail end of an Unreal Engine panel, and as Epic founder Tim Sweeney wrapped up his discussion on the state of the Unreal, NVIDIA CEO Jen Hussein Huang surprised attendees by emerging on stage to unveil the company's Titan 10. He called it the world's most advanced GPU, though he was short on details. What he was willing to divulge about the card is that it has 12 gigabytes of onboard memory and 8 billion transistors.
Jeez.
Yeah. For the sake of comparison, Titan Black has 7.1 billion transistors and 6 gigs of GDDR5 memory. So again, he's calling it the most advanced GPU the world has ever seen. Now, would this work in your computer, Ben?
I don't think I have a like. Honestly, that's like we were just talking about power supply units and things like that.
Yeah.
Like the Titan, the fact that this one like again, we're talking about the graphics card, not a computer. This one graphics card has more onboard RAM than my entire computer does. I might not have the power supply unit to slake this thing's thirst.
Well, you have to get a beefier power supply, no question about that.
And from the looks of it, a bigger case. This thing's huge.
It is. It's gigantic.
It's probably the size of your forearm.
He then presented the company's first production unit to Sweeney, though not before autographing the box it came in. Wow, that's going to be valuable. NVIDIA will release more details about the card during the upcoming GTC event that runs from March 17th to March 20th. But there it is. I'm looking at it in all its glory. This is an amazing-looking card. Wow.
So the NVIDIA Titan X.
Yes. No, it's a Titan 10.
Titan. Now is it 10 or X?
It's a Roman numeral. It's 10. The Titan 10.
I think it's the NVIDIA Titan X.
No, it's
Why do you think it's 10?
Because it would have a number 10 if it went to because they were talking about 9 Titan Black. No, it's
What?
Titan.
No, what? Why is Titan Black Titan 9?
No, I'm just saying. What was the Titan before Black? I mean, was there any numbers?
No, it was Titan. It was Titan, then Titan Black. Now it's Titan X.
Okay, I think it's Titan 10.
There was no Titan 1 through 9.
I know, but I'm still saying because it's
There wasn't even a Titan I, a Titan V, and then a Titan X. It's just Titan X.
Okay. Well, I'm sticking with 10. I'll call tomorrow and
Uh,
find.
yeah, you'll call tomorrow because you're an Apple user and you think Roman numerals still matter.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, yes. You're Mac. We have Mac bias here. So yeah, that was NVIDIA's new graphics card. Looks exciting. Can't wait to see it. Hopefully one day in the far distant future, get my hands on one because that thing looks amazing.
Uh-huh.
So uh, here's one from earlier. We were kind of talking about fake tech support and phone calls and things like that. Well, turns out that the FTC offers a $25,000 prize if you can trap robocallers.
Really?
Yeah. So this one from Engadget, John Fingus, and the Federal Trade Commission still hates robocalls as much as you do. The agency has launched a contest where you'll get $25,000 top prize if you develop technology that sends illegal automated telemarketing to a honeypot system, which makes it easier to study calls and catch perpetrators. You have up until the evening of June 15th to qualify for your bot trap, and the winner will be decided at a DEF CON showdown on August 9th. The payout certainly isn't large, but thinking of this as doing the country a favor, you may save millions from listening to Rachel from Card Services over and over again. Because robocalls, as you may or may not know, even if you may get them all the time, they are illegal, and they carry with them a pretty hefty fine for every single one. Like if you have a robocall and a robocall center gets discovered and taken out, like for each robocall they get fined like $1,000, and they could do thousands upon thousands of robocalls a day. So robocalls are very much illegal, and apparently they're looking for some kind of trap where I'm guessing you would hit a button, transfer it over to a phone tree system or something like that, and then it would try to navigate itself out of the phone tree system to talk to someone. And I guess if the technology's right, they want you to develop it to send it in a continuous loop through the phone tree, letting it kind of, figure out the technology behind it, and then hopefully, I guess at the end of the day, figuring out a way to, I don't want to say defeat, but essentially defeat them.
Well,
what do you think, Greg?
It sounds like I think it sounds like an ambitious. I don't know if it's going to be technologically possible to do that, but it may. I mean, there's nothing.
They're robots.
Yeah, but you're right. There's nothing. But the robot call usually is the precursor to a live human. You'll get the precursors. It'll say, press 1 if they'll give you the pitch real fast, and it'll say, if you're interested, press 1, and we'll turn you over to a salesperson who can help you. So it isn't always just a robocall, but usually it has to wind up with a live person because then the telemarketer is gonna come on to assist you. And that's the thing. So they spend less money on hiring telemarketers, and they pay the money for these robocallers that kind of weeds out the people who aren't interested, finds the interested parties, and turns it over to the telemarketer.
Well, I guess robocallers isn't just calling people, getting them to a live person. There's also the scammers that use robocalls, where there's not a live person anywhere. That's just asking for you to put in your social security number, asking you to put in your banking information, asking you to put in whatever information you're looking for, and then saying thank you for your time, goodbye. And those are the ones that I think they're really trying to take out. Not the ones that are trying to redirect you to a service, but the ones that are trying to actively or passively scam you just through a robocall.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned this because you brought this up. On tomorrow night, we're going to have a company called Teltec on the show. And they have something, and we've had them on the show before. We've had the company CEO on the show a number of times. They're going to talk about a product called Trap Call. And what Trap Call basically does nothing more annoying when you get a call, and you look at your phone and it says, call blocked, because they're using caller ID, to block the call. Well, evidently, Trap Call will work to actually unmask blocked caller IDs.
You can do that?
We're going to find out because he is going to be with us here tomorrow to talk about this product that does exactly what I just said. Okay.
Don't you ever feel like sometimes technology is just like a real-time, massively interactive cartoon of spy versus spy? It's like,
Yeah, that's a lock and key syndrome. That's what I was telling you about. That's exactly what it is. But they've come out with these products now. This is the trap. The company who called Teltec. They make a number of products. They actually make a product that allows you to spoof your calls, called Spoof Call. They make a lot of interesting products that are really cutting edge and on the border of illegal versus legal, and it's still a very gray area. But we're gonna have again the Ethan Garr, who is the general manager of Trap Call, is going to come on.
I thought you were about to say Greg Evans.
No. Ethan Garr is going to be on the show, and we're going to talk about Trap Call. And I'm looking forward to this tomorrow. It's going to be a really interesting show. So I'm talking about how you can actually unmask the caller ID, the block, and actually see who's calling you. Okay, Ben and I are doing computer news, technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities. This is another story from Engadget. Xbox Live and ID at Xbox are coming to Windows 10. That's right. The news of Xbox games coming to HoloLens and Elite Dangerous hitting Xbox One this summer wasn't nearly enough. Microsoft has a few other tidbits to share from this year's Game Developer Conference. First up, Microsoft is bringing the Xbox Live SDK, that's a software developer kit, to Windows 10. It's part of the Universal Apps push that the output's making with its new operating system, and will give game developers of any size access to a vast majority of Xbox Live services. It wouldn't be the first time Microsoft's done something like this, but let's hope it doesn't turn into another disaster like Games for Windows Live was. This post was on Xbox Wire, and that's pretty much it. We're going to come back to this and finish the story up. This is really interesting. Ben and I are doing computer technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities. You're listening to us on the Boost Radio Network, the Blog Talk Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. We'll be right back. Another news test bulletin review from Marty Winston coming up too. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
On behalf of the people of America, we welcome you. Hi, this is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America, this time the ScanSnap SV600. The ScanSnap group at Fujitsu continues to make the best performing end-user scanners in the category, and their UltraStance SV600, looks a little bit like a banker's desk lamp, takes that in a whole new direction. It's an overhead scanner, not just a camera, with a band of LED light that scans across a sheet of book or an object up to an inch plus thick, more or less nodding its head to feed the CCD optics. It's smart enough to keep working when you turn pages or flip sheets. Their software is intuitive, if a bit quirky, but happily, it all just works. Bottom line, the new ScanSnap SV600 stand scanner brings ScanSnap speed, quality, and convenience to whole new realms. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. We are doing computer and technology news brought to you by Slimmer Utilities. And last hour of the show tonight, Mike Cermak joined us earlier. Great segment. Did some tech support. Nice conversation. I beat Craig in a quiz. All the good stuff that you expect. And right now, Craig is doing this article though that you should really finish up.
Yeah, Xbox Live and ID at Xbox are coming to Windows 10. And as I reported, basically, to finish the story says, next we have word that ID at Xbox program is expanding to Windows 10 as well, meaning the amount of indie developers on the platform, most likely mobile, should see an uptick in the future as well. Oh, and from this point on, all Xbox accessories will be compatible with Windows 10, with a wireless adapter coming for the Xbox One controller later this year. That's very cool. In case you thought Microsoft's dedication to melding its console with your PC via the game DVR was the last you'd see, it seems like it was actually just the beginning. Where do we go from here? That's anyone's guess at this point, but Build and the Electronics Entertainment Expo aren't far off. So there's probably going to be more to be coming into that. But this is cool. I mean, getting the Xbox One to integrate with Windows 10. Very cool.
Yep.
All right.
Seems like there's going to be a lot of integration between Windows 10 and the Xbox ecosystem. So that's definitely a good thing. It's bringing a couple of these platforms together, which if you're already tied into Xbox and Microsoft, such as myself, this is icing on the cake.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, so this next story strikes a little close to home, in that it's about my city, and this is gonna be really rough. But apparently, my city's getting shut down.
Really?
Yeah. It's EA shuts down the studio behind SimCity.
Oh.
Yeah, it's sad. So this is from Engadget, and the studio that created SimCity and The Sims is no more. Today, EA confirmed that it will shut down Maxis Emeryville, displacing the folks primarily responsible for the aforementioned titles. In a statement, EA said that it'll relocate Maxis development to its other offices in Redwood Shores, California, Salt Lake City, and Melbourne, Australia. The company plans to move forward with projects already in the works, including an expansion pack for The Sims 4, who saw that coming, and an ongoing title for the existing The Sims and SimCity faithful. Those two are massively popular PC titles, and the latter finally arrived on Mac in 2013, with players everywhere encountering a truckload of launch issues. Don't get us started on those. Mm-hmm. In fact, the game had a much wider appeal than most, as virtual lives and social experiments attracted players otherwise not interested in the likes of Doom or Wolfenstein. Although Maxis garnered the bulk of the criticism for 2013's botched launch, EA servers that sort online gameplay and more had a key role too. At the time, the duo claimed an offline mode wasn't possible, and then a few months later delivered the feature via an update. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was. If you remember back when SimCity first launched, it was a nightmare. And even though the article says that they kind of put the blame on Maxis, I really do think a lot of people put the blame on EA more than Maxis, because EA was obviously trying to squeeze every penny out of people, and just having the continuous only online service was kind of their way of putting DRM on their game. Just kind of forcing people to not pirate their games, because The Sims and all of the expansions, as well as SimCity, are one of the most pirated games out there. So apparently, Maxis is, which, as I said before, The Sims 4 and SimCity, they're responsible for both. It's getting shut down, which isn't surprising, because The Sims 4 as well kind of fell into a pretty big issue. Is that The Sims 3, like The Sims 1 was revolutionary. No one had ever seen it before. It was great. Sims 2 delivered even more compelling gameplay. People loved it. Sims 3, it was okay. It was just more of Sims 2. And then the problem with Sims 4 is they actually stripped out a lot of features and a lot of gameplay that Sims 2 and Sims 3 actually had. So Sims 4 was actually taking a step backwards. Sure, the graphics were a little better. Sure, the gameplay was a little bit smoother, and the relationship aspect of it was a little bit better. But in general, the gameplay features were extremely lackluster. So Maxis hasn't been getting much good publicity lately, because I think at the point where EA bought them out, they've been kind of led to maximize profits and minimize, how diverse and fun their games are. And when you're playing something like The Sims or SimCity, that's what you need. You need diversity, and you need ways for this game to kind of blossom. So, yeah, we saw it with EA purchased Maxis, and then The Sims Online actually got shut down not too long after. So, unfortunately, it looks like this might be the last version of The Sims out there. Might be the last version of Sims and SimCity, because they've been going for close to, I think SimCity came out in 96 or something like that.
Remember you playing it as a kid? It was one of your favorite games.
No, SimCity, not The Sims. SimCity.
No. Yeah. Oh, okay.
You don't remember? I think it came out on Mac first.
No, I don't remember.
Do you remember, Craig, SimCity?
No, yes, I remember SimCity, and it may have been.
Do you remember when it came out?
Nope, I don't remember. I do not remember. I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't. But hey.
1989.
Oh. Okay.
SimCity came out in 1989.
And it was on the Mac first?
And yeah, I think so. And from 1989 till 2015, when they've dissolved their offices, that kind of stinks. But they haven't really done anything innovative in a while. So games are great, and when they're and everyone wants their heyday to be forever. But if you don't take chances, take risks, or do anything new with your games, you just push out the same stuff over and over again. People like it the first time, they'll enjoy it the second time, but then they'll kind of feel let down the third, fourth time. So unfortunately, I think that's what Maxis happened when EA purchased them.
Well, remember last night we were talking to MIT, the associate professor of computer science.
We have said that many times. It's just like mentioning MIT is bringing up our cloud.
Yes, exactly. And we were talking about, and then I asked him a question about quantum computers, and he said that he wasn't, that wasn't really his area of expertise, which I admire him for. He didn't really know too much, but he didn't pretend to know about him. He just said that's not my area. Although people in the computer lab, the CSAIL lab, is one of the faculty members is involved with quantum computing. I bring this up because evidently here we have a news story about quantum computing. Google is tackling quantum computing's hardest problem. You know what its hardest problem is? Errors. Now here's the thing.
I found that was my biggest problem in school as well.
Well, the logic of quantum computing, by the very logic of quantum computing, the act of checking for an error is itself likely to create an error. See the conundrum that is here. See, the promise of quantum computing is computers powerful enough to break encryption techniques we now use to protect the world's data, but realizing that promise means, among other things, cracking a thorny paradox. A basic operation of any computer is checking for mistakes. That's what it does. But by the logic of quantum computing, the act of checking for mistakes is itself likely to create a mistake. Well, evidently, researchers at Google have been trying to solve this problem, and now they believe they've made some progress. They actually have a picture of a chip, a very, very, a micro photograph of the chip. And they say what you see is a tiny piece of aluminum film on a sapphire wafer built by the Google team. The 9 miniaturized fire hose nozzle-type devices in the middle of the chip house quantum bits, or qubits. Quantum computing's more elaborate answer to the ones and zeros of traditional microprocessors. Okay. The researchers say they've devised a sneaky technique for some of the qubits to check out their neighbors for errors without injecting new mistakes themselves. See, the crux of the problem is a phenomenon called bit flipping. This happens when some kind of interference, cosmic rays, for example, causes the bits stored in memory to switch state, to jump from a 0 to a 1 or vice versa. On a PC or a server, error correction is relatively easy. You can simply measure all of the bits in the chip to check for the flips or the flags. But things don't work that way in the quantum world, where data moves between mere ones and zeros. If you measure a qubit directly, you change it just by measuring it. And all kinds of interference can easily modify the fragile state of the qubit stored in the machine. As a result, quantum computing in the real world will require a lot of error correction, according to a quantum electronics engineer at Google and a member of the team that built the chip. It's an absolutely unavoidable part of building a practical quantum computer. And his team published the results of the work in the science journal Nature Today. To do their error correction, the researchers lined up the 5 qubits holding the data, called data qubits, right next to 4 other qubits that are there to measure. They check out their neighbors, but in a stealthy way, pulling up just enough information to see if there's been a bit error, but not enough information to screw up the quantum behavior of the system. Wow. Despite the researchers' success, the Google hardware is still lousy compared to your PC, where bit flipping is an extreme rarity. With their code, the Google team was able to reduce bit flip errors to about 1%. But comparing these error rates is beside the point. If they are ever built, quantum computers will have vastly more computing capacity than classical computers, and as a result, they'll also be able to devote more resources toward error correction. As with so many other developments in the long slog toward building a useful quantum computer, this work represents an important step forward, but not a giant leap. Until now, error correction's role in quantum computing has been a bit of an open question. For example, the D-Wave quantum computer that Google and NASA are experimenting with does not have error correction built into it. We talked to D-Wave. Remember, we had him on the show. There have been a number of people out there who have postulated that doing quantum error correction would just be impossible and that quantum computing will just not work. Quantum computing still has the skeptics, but score 1 for the optimists with this next development. It's interesting because it's supposed to, these computers are going to be so vastly more powerful, but it's a shame that maybe so much of that power might be dedicated to just correcting all the errors. Wouldn't it be interesting if they got to it was a tipping point where they was doing so much error checking that it wouldn't be practical to build it?
Well, I think once you conquer the error problems with it, because just because our traditional stuff doesn't spend much resources on error checking, it obviously spends some, but even with all the resources going to error checking, just the nature of the chip design, just the nature of quantum computing might just make it infinitely more powerful than what we have now. Like just by using entangled electrons is probably better than zeros and ones anyways.
Yeah. Well, it's
even if we get what I'm saying is even if we get just that 1%, let's say 99% of the chip is just to make sure it doesn't cause a black hole, and 1% is actually for computational power. That 1% might be better than anything we've made so far.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe. Okay. So what else we got?
What else do we got? What else do we got? Amazon reaches 400K apps. That's pretty cool. K-Cup inventor said that he regrets making the K-Cup.
Oh, we got to talk.
So,
You want to do that
all
one?
right, yeah, no, let's do that one. This one is big on the numbers, so we'll try to save you. But yeah, this one from Business Insider, and Drake Bear, the Keurig's K-Cups inventor, says he feels bad that he made it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Keurig Green Mountain made $4.7 billion in revenue last year. Much of that money came thanks to K-Cups, the coffee in a pod system invented by co-founder John Stilven. The product is everywhere, and it's a waste too, thanks to the fact that the cups are almost impossible to recycle. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He says, quote,
he says, I feel bad sometimes that I ever invented the K-Cup.
Yeah, it's he said that it's a blessing and a curse that coffee pods are the poster child dilemma of the American economy. People want convenience even if it's not sustainable. Sylvan knew he had a hit on his hands when he was figuring out the pod's mechanism back in the 90s. He said, quote, it's like a cigarette for coffee, a single-serve delivery mechanism for an addictive substance. And that's quite the dark way to put it. He says, but Sylvan, who sold his stake in the company for $50,000 in 1997, doesn't own the machine. Oh, wow, $50,000 in 1997. He might have cashed out a little too soon.
Yeah, I think it is.
Out of that 1 year, almost $5 billion profit. So he says, cool, I don't have one. They're kind of expensive to use. Plus, it's not like drip coffee is tough to make. Yet the mix of ease and addictiveness has made Keurig and its peers massively successful. In 2008, only 1.8 million coffee pod machines were sold in the U.S. In 2013, 11.6 million were sold, so 10 times as much in about 5 years. It said that a 2013 poll found that 1 in 3 Americans had a single-serve coffee maker either at home or at work. And if all the K-Cups that were sold in 2014 were laid end-to-end, the Atlantic reports it would be enough to circle the Earth more than 10 times.
That's a lot of K-Cups.
That's a lot of waste. Yeah, that's a lot of K-Cup and a lot of waste of plastic. So today, Sylvan work is very much environmental, and he runs a solar company that claims to make the most cost-efficient solar panels in the world. Makes sense why he'd be concerned about the environment. Maybe he's trying to atone for his K-Cup invention.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
Why can't they make a K-Cup that is, either compostable or, just some way better for the environment?
Yeah. Well.
That's weird.
I know. I'm still caught up by the K-Cup, the Keurig 2, which has copy protection on their K-Cups. I just still can't believe that. Okay, where are we going here? Oculus says it will launch its first big VR consumer push in 2020? No, 2015. Yes, 2015. That's this year. Oculus' first big consumer push for its virtual reality technology will come at the end of this year with the next iteration of its Samsung Gear VR for mobile. Okay. The official formal strategy is that Oculus goes big, full consumer on Samsung's next release cycle. Okay. The Gear VR is currently available as an Innovators Edition, technically for its sale to the public, but with a caveat that it is intended for early adopters and those who don't mind an incomplete experience. Samsung said he's happy with the Gear VR hardware and that Samsung phones that it requires to run, it's just the Oculus software and the digital game store that needs to be polished up and filled with content before they move forward with the launch. Developers should expect the Gear VR store to be more like Apple's walled garden versus Android's Wild West. It is a reviewed store. We have already rejected some apps. Earlier this week, the Gear VR store added paid apps to its library, and Oculus showed its new version of the Gear VR, which works with Samsung's new Galaxy S6 phones. This will be available soon, but it's still an Innovators Edition. But it's the third iteration of Gear VR, which says will work with as yet unannounced new phones that Samsung will release by the end of 2015. that Oculus will be trying to sell to anyone and everyone who wants to get in on virtual reality. It is going to be real. There are going to be customers for this. And I would tend to agree with him.
It's I really hope VR really does take off. I hope that it's, perhaps either it's for the computer or console or somewhat. The types of games that you can play, the types of movies that you can watch, the kinds of experiences that you can have are going to be so future, like it's going to be the next level of immersion into a game. It's no longer you're sitting back staring at a picture frame, essentially, of a movie, of a TV, of whatever. It fills your entire field of vision. You can move your head. You can direct it where you want to go. It is the next form of entertainment.
Yep.
I can't wait.
I can't either. It's going to be amazing.
Are you going to try it?
Of course, but I'll probably get vertigo. I have motion sickness from that.
I really am going to start keeping my eyes up because, as soon as they release them to the public, maybe at malls, maybe at shopping centers, what have you, wherever there might be a GameStop or Best Buy or an EB Games or whatever or what have you, there should be test demos where they'll have grungy, crusty, creepy, smelly headsets. But I don't care. I would strap that on, and I would totally like to see what it's like.
Yeah, I would think so.
Fine, because as soon as they start selling to the public, there have to be test demo headsets. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Because right now we're just hearing about all of these reporters that are going to these conventions, and they have test kits. But right now only reporters are using them. But all the reporters are saying, including Grayson Hamilton, are saying that this thing is amazing. This kind of technology is amazing. It is amazing.
It is.
Can't wait.
He got vertigo from it, but he at least he was sitting down.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, one last quick one. This one's about HBO. HBO, if you remember, last year announced that they will be helping cord cutters because HBO for the longest time was only available through a cable TV subscription. Think really any cable TV subscription.
Yeah.
Well, the smart people over at HBO have realized that the internet is the way of the future, and they now have a streaming service and a price.
Really?
Yep. So it's called HBO Now.
All right.
NOW. And it costs $15 a month. So HBO reportedly trying to launch the service on April 12th in time for the 5th season premiere of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones right now currently being probably their highest anticipated and highest viewed series on HBO. So it's probably a good idea to line it up with that. And yeah, without getting too much into the specifics of the article, can't talk. Netflix, as you may know, costs $9 a month.
Yeah.
HBO Go, which is only going to be providing HBO content, and it's going to be a la carte, so it's not like you're going to sign up for HBO and then you still have to wait for 9 p.m. on a Thursday to catch your show. HBO Go is
on demand.
Is going, yeah. HBO Now is going to be on demand. HBO Go is their other service.
You can get access to HBO wherever you go. That's why you can take it with you. HBO Now.
But HBO Now is independent of any cable service. So if you just want HBO, but you don't want to pay someone, $100 for a cable subscription just to get it, $15 a month. HBO Now will be available April 12th. So not too far off.
Wow. You're right. It isn't that far off.
Yep. They said that some experts expect close to 10 million people to subscribe to it. Which makes sense because if you're really interested in HBO programming and you don't feel like pirating or you don't feel like doing any of these other illegal activities and you don't feel like signing up for this huge cable subscription, which, let's face it, with most of them being a 2-year contract, it's a huge commitment. $15 a month, that's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. There was somebody. What? I'm sorry. There was somebody.
I was just gonna say that, just sign up for Netflix, HBO Go, and maybe Amazon Prime.
And
That's three different things to get all different kinds of content that you may want, and you're still only, breaking about what is that, like $30 a month?
yeah, that's about it.
Instead of paying $120 to a cable company. So cord cutting just got a little bit better.
Yes, it did. Absolutely. As I said, we didn't get to all these great stories like an injectable enzyme stops wounds from bleeding. That would have been really cool. There's a lot of great stories. Maybe we can catch and do some of these in the upcoming. Also, a control for your smartphone with stickers. You just put them on your skin, and you can control your smartphone. Really, really cool stuff. And
then apparently there's a universal remote, for your technology.
Yes, I
that
saw
apparently is adding software to let you control your connected home.
That's right, through your smartphone. It's an app, exactly, from Tech Hub.
Home automation is getting more and more connected every year, so
yeah.
It's really cool to see it going from high-tech, multi-$1,000 systems to pretty much everyone's doing it. And if you wait just a couple more years, everything's going to work. Is going to work well with each other.
And NVIDIA is revealing a game streaming grid service that will have free and premium tiers. These are all some great stories. So maybe we'll be able to catch them next time on the show. In the meantime, that about wraps up the program. Again, thanks to Mike Cermak. Always a pleasure having him here on the program. We'll see him next month. Tomorrow night, again, in the first hour, we're going to have a company called Activon, and then in hour 2 we're going to have Teltech. Teltech is this company that makes an app that will called Trap Call that will actually let you see who's calling you, even though they're using caller ID blocking. So telemarketers, that's a cute trick that they sometimes use. But evidently with Trap Call, you're gonna be able to see who they are, even though they don't want you to see. So that's coming up in the.
And then it lets you put them in the prison that Zod is trapped in from Superman.
And rightly so, I would think. So again, that about wraps it up, and hopefully you had a wonderful time, and we will see you tomorrow night. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good day, everyone.
10 seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching on our live Computer America video stream, and we'll see you tomorrow with Teltech. Good night.